I am Gisami Palan Bandola and I am the reporter of human sexual behavior. What is human sexual behavior? Human sexual behavior is defined as any activity solitary between two persons or in a group that induces sexual arousal according to Give Hard PH 2017. There are two major factors that determine human sexual behavior: the inherited sexual response patterns that have evolved as a means of ensuring reproduction and that become part of each individual's genetic inheritance, and the degree of restraint or other types of influence exerted on the individual by society in the expression of his sexuality. There are seven types of behavior. The various the various types of human sexual behavior are usually classified according to the gender and number of participants. There is solitary behavior involving in one individual, and there is social sexual behavior involving more than one person. Social sexual behavior is generally divided into heterosexual behavior, male with female, and homosexual behavior, male with male or female with female. If homosexual activity is stimultaneously, according to Give Hard PH 2017. The first behavior is solitary behavior. Solitary behavior is a self-gratification, means self-stimulation that leads to sexual arousal and generally. Sexual climax, usually most self-gratification, takes place in private as an end in itself but can also done in a social sexual relationship. Self-gratification, generally beginning at or before puberty, is very common among young males but becomes less frequent or is abandoned with socio-sexual activity is available consequently. Self-gratification is most frequent among the unmarried. There are more males who perform acts of self-gratification than females. There are more males, sorry, the frequency greatly varies among individuals and it usually decreases as soon as they develop social sexual relationship. Majority of males and females have fantasies of some socio-sexual activity while the while they gratify themselves. The fantasy frequently involves idealized sexual partners and activities that the individual has not experienced and even might avoid in real life. Next is gonorrhea. In 2016, there are 4,668,514 gonorrhea cases were reported for a rate of 148.8 cases per 1,000 population. I guess 100,000 population, an increase of 8.5% from 2015. During 2015 to 2016, the rate of reported gonorrhea increased 22.2% among men and 13.8% among women. The magnitude of the increase among men suggests either increased transmission or increased case ascertainment through increased extragenital screening among MSM, men who have sex with men or both. The concurrent increases among cases reported among women suggest parallel increases in heterosexual transmission. Increased screening among women or both. In 2016, the rate of reported cases of gonorrhea remained highest among African Americans, 400 481.2 cases per 100,000 population. Among American Indians, Alaska Natives, 242.9 cases per 100 population during 2012 to 2016. Rates increased among all racial and ethnic groups. Antimicrobial resistance remains an important consideration in the treatment of gonorrhea. There are the symptoms of gonorrhea. What are the causes of gonorrhea? Gonorrhea is a bacterial infection. You can get infected when the bacteria enter your body through the penis, anus, vagina, or mouth, often during unprotected sex. You can also get or pass gonorrhea through sharing sex toys that haven't been washed or covered with a new condom. Is gonorrhea curable? Yes, gonorrhea can be cured with the right treatment. It is important that you take all of the medication you're described to cure your infection. Medication for gonorrhea should not be shared with anyone. Although medication will stop the infection, it will not undo any permanent damage caused by the disease. Next is syphilis. Syphilis, in 2016, 27,814 primary and secondary PNS syphilis cases were reported, representing a national rate of 8.7 cases per 100,000 population and a 17.6% increase from 2015 from to 2016. The PNS syphilis rate increased among both men and women in every region of the country. Overall, the rate increased 14.7% among men and 37.7% among women. During 2012 to 2016, PNE syphilis rates were constantly highest among persons aged 20 to 29 years old, but rates increased in every 5-year age group among those aged 15 to 64 years old. In 2016, rates were highest among African American, 23.3 per 100,000 population, and Native Hawaiian, other Pacific Islanders, 13.9 per 100,000 population. However, rates increased among all racial and ethnic groups in 2012 to 2016. This is the symptoms of syphilis in female: tiredness, headaches, joint pains, high temperature, fever. Next is chancroid. Chancroid is caused by infection with the bacterium Haemophilus ducreae. Clinical manifestation include genital ulcers and inguinal lymphadenopathy or BOWS. Reported cases of chancroid declined steadily between 1987 and 2001. Since then, the number of reported cases has fluctuated somewhat while still appearing to decline overall. In 2016, a total of 7 cases of chancroid were reported in the United States. What causes chancroid? Chancroid is caused by the bacterium Haemophilus ducreae and results in painful, superficial ulcers, often with regional lymphadenopathy, and also chancroid occurs in Asia, Africa, and Caribbean and is an important factor of HIV transmission. What is chancroid look like? The most common symptoms of chancroid are painful, red-colored bumps in the genital region that become ulcerated, often sores. The base of the ulcer can appear gray or yellow. Chancroid sores are often very painful in men but less noticeable and painful in women. Next is herpes simplex virus. Herpes simplex virus, HSV, is among the most prevalent of sexually transmitted infections. Although most infections are subclinical, clinical manifestations are characterized by recurrent, painful genital and or anal lesions. Most genital HSV infection in the United States are caused by HSV type 2, While HSV type 1 infection are typically orolabial and required during childhood. How can you prevent herpes virus? Get plenty of sleep. This helps your immune system strong. Eat healthy foods. Good nutrition also helps your immune system stay strong. Keep stress low. Constant stress can weaken your immune system. Protect yourself from the sun, wind, and extreme cold and heat. Is herpes simplex curable? There is no cure for herpes. However, there are medicines that can prevent or shorten outbreaks. One of these anti-herpes medicine can be taken daily and make it less likely that you will pass the infection onto your sex partner. Next is human papilloma virus. Human papilloma virus (HPV) is the most common sexually transmitted infection in the United States. Over 40 distinct HPV types can infect the genital tract. Although most infections are asymptomatic and appear to resolve spontaneously within a few years, the prevalence of genital infection within HPV type was 42.5% among United States adults aged 18 to 59 years old during 2013 to 2014. Persistent infection with some HPV types can cause cancer and genital warts. HPV types 16 and 18 account for approximately 56% of cervical cancers in the United States and approximately 25% of low-grade and 50% of higher-grade cervical intraepithelial lesions or dysplasia. HPV type 6 and 11 are responsible for approximately 90% of genital warts. Symptoms are associated with the human papilloma virus. When HPV does not go away, it causes health problems like genital warts and cancer. Genital warts usually appear as a small bump or groups of bumps in the genital area. They can be small or large, raised or flat, or shaped like a cauliflower. This is the signs of HPV in a woman. Cervix, HPV, and cancer. Cancer symptoms: pain during sex, pain in the pelvic region, unusual discharge from the vagina, unusual bleeding such as after sex. Is human papillomavirus curable? There is no cure for the virus HPV itself. There are treatments for the health problems that HPV can cause, such as genital warts, cervical cancer, and cervical changes, and cervical cancer. And the last one is Trichomonas vaginalis. Trichomonas vaginalis is a common sexually transmitted protozoal infection associated with the adverse health outcomes such as preterm birth and symptomatic vaginitis. It is not a nationally reportable condition, and trend data are limited to estimates of initial physician's office visits for the condition. Visits appear to be fairly stable since the 1990s. The number of initial visits for Trichomonas vaginalis infection in 2015 was 139,000. How long trichomoniasis can live in a body? Some people with symptoms of trich get them within 5 to 28 days after being infected, but others do not develop symptoms until much later. Symptoms can come and go, and without treatment, the infection can last for months or even years. What causes trichomoniasis in females? Trichomoniasis is caused by a tiny parasite called Trichomonas vaginalis in women. This parasite mainly infects the vagina and the tube that carries urine out of the body, urethra. And I'm done. I hope you learned something about this topic. Thank you.